Tomorrow's countryside promises to be a remarkable place for recreation, preservation, and productivity. Tomorrow's rural community promises to be a remarkable place to raise our families and to go about our lives. The rural community of tomorrow will also link the countryside to areas of the earth that reflect a further-reaching transformation of the human experience. This is Session 6, The City, in a course titled Blueprint for Reconstruction, and that is an aspect of a larger view, evolution of consciousness theory. In this session, we look at the epitome of urban and ecological rebirth. In concept, we lay out the design of tomorrow's city. The central element in tomorrow's city will be the urban community. As we introduced in our session on design criteria, the urban community is a social unit cohesive enough to support nestled social structures, down to the level of the extended and immediate families. It is also large and diverse enough to support a vibrant economy. The task of designing our urban community may seem intangible. By looking at the urban community in the context of human social and physical needs, however, its form stands out. We begin with a simple fact. A dispersed transportation system does not work in a densely populated urban area. As population increases, it becomes difficult and ultimately impossible to build the roads, parking lots, support facilities, and everything else we need to get around by car. Cars, trucks, and highways work in the countryside, where the population is low and spread out, but they have no place in the city. Most of us equate the automobile with freedom. If the automobile increases our mobility, it increases our freedom. If the automobile limits our mobility, it limits our freedom. Any attempt to impose the automobile on the city of the future will result in the urban mess we live in today. We need an urban design that provides the individual with greater mobility and greater freedom. Imagine a circular plot of land with an area of 1 square kilometer or 250 acres. This would give it a diameter of about 1.13 kilometers, or somewhat less than a mile. This size and shape is significant for two reasons. First, it is large enough to support a social structure with a substantial number of nestled levels and to embody a diverse and vibrant economy. Second, it is small enough so that every place in the urban community would be accessible by foot. The average person walks at a pace of about 6 kilometers, or a little less than 4 miles per hour. This puts every place in our 1 square kilometer community within a 12-minute walk. In a densely populated urban area, walking is the only practical way to get around. Even today, we must at some point get out of our car and walk. There is no alternative to walking. Too many people on bicycles can be nearly as troublesome to plan for as too many people in cars. The basic component of our urban transportation system must be travel on foot, and we must engineer our urban community to meet this requirement. Now imagine that the 1 square kilometer circle of our urban community was built relatively close to the 1 square kilometer circles of other urban communities, and that each urban community was linked by some form of transit system. Such creates a larger urban division, the city unit. Because each urban community would have a population sufficient to maintain a diverse economy and a nestled social structure, most of our activities would take place within the urban community. We can think of the urban community as our hometown. When, however, we needed to travel to another community, we would catch the transit. To attend a class in a neighboring community, a student would walk to her community's terminal, catch the transit to the community where a class is held, and walk to her class. In contrast to contemporary transit systems, this scheme works for two reasons. First, we are not trying to transport everyone in the city at the same time. Most of what we need to do, we can take care of in the urban community. Unlike rush hour traffic today, where it seems everyone in the city is trying to get anywhere but where they were at, the bulk of our movement would be in the urban community and thus be on foot. Second, our transit system links population centers and not geographical locations. We travel between centers of human activity and not between blocks, our bus or train stopping every few minutes to let someone on or off. If we locate the transit terminals in our urban communities, in the center of their 1 square kilometer circles, it would be roughly a 6-minute walk to any terminal. If the transit ride took 3 minutes, a 2-kilometer distance at 40 kilometers per hour, no place in the city unit would be more than a 12-minute walk and a 3-minute transit hop away, 15 minutes. Now, imagine a larger urban structure, one made up of city units, each linked by a transit system. This configuration creates the more complex urban body of the city. As to the layout of the city, it is easy to see how we can extend our nestled design to accommodate large populations on small geographical areas. Say the building block of our city, the urban community, has a population of 50,000 people. Present-day Hong Kong has a population density of about 40,000 people per square kilometer, or 100,000 per square mile, with a lot of space taken up by streets, parking structures, and in other ways not efficiently used. A city unit comprised of 9 urban communities would then have a population of 450,000, living in an area of 9 square kilometers, or about 3.5 square miles. If we add one additional structural level, the city would have a population of 4 million people living in an area of 81 square kilometers, or about 31 square miles. In this configuration, we could reach any place in the city by walks and transit hops in about 21 minutes. If we added one more structural level and included 4 city structures, we would have an urban area able to accommodate the 16 million residents of the Los Angeles basin, now spread out over some 3,200 square kilometers, or 2,000 square miles, on 324 square kilometers, or 125 square miles. We could access any part of this urban structure with one additional transit hop, adding 3 minutes to our travel time. Completing the level by increasing the number of city structures to 9 allows us to accommodate 36.5 million residents with no additional transit hops or travel time. We could get anywhere in an urban area more populated than the largest city now in existence in about 24 minutes. By eliminating roads and parking lots, we shrink the spatial geometry of the city and create an urban environment structured around population centers as opposed to geographical locations. Like a biological organism, systems of human interaction are nestled within systems of human interaction to form a coherent whole, the city. In addition, our design is geographically independent. The city has a basic spatial unit, the 1 square kilometer circle of the urban community, but the arrangement of these units is not geographically based. Because we link urban communities with a transit system, and we can run our transit cars at different speeds, we can vary the distances between urban communities without increasing transit times. We can superimpose our city over almost any landscape without disrupting our city's nestled structure. The above discussion outlines the basic concept of tomorrow's city. We have a design that provides for the freedom and mobility of the individual and that accommodates our social needs and the more intimate, nestled, and interwoven social structures that in the future, evolution will bring into existence. In every way, our urban community will be an expression of who we are and of where we as individuals and as a human community are headed. A communication system will allow us to interact with anyone anywhere at any time. Transit will operate like horizontally running elevators. To be whisked to our destination community, we need do nothing more than step aboard. City transit will connect urban communities and link the urban community to successively larger city units and to airports, sports arenas, rural communities, and industrial facilities. Regional transit will connect cities. Airliners will traverse oceans and continents. A part of the urban canvas we must not ignore are the spaces around the urban communities and between the city units. We will nestle our urban communities in parks and garden plots. We will surround larger urban units with farms and lakes, bike paths, and hiking trails. We may also locate rural communities in these areas, increasing housing and transportation options in the urban vicinity. The city of tomorrow promises to provide a dynamic urban environment, but one that is no more than a transit hop to the countryside. We are not engineering the Earth's future urban infrastructure. We are engineering the Earth's future urban and ecological infrastructure. In what way does the spatial geometry of tomorrow's city reflect humankind's evolution to greater awareness and less collective society? Is the city of tomorrow a place where you would want to live? What aspects of city life matter the most to you? With our look at the city of tomorrow, we complete Session 6 in our course titled Blueprint for Reconstruction. We move on and look at the urban artistry the creative process empowers humankind to construct. Our course on the reconstruction of the Earth's urban and ecological infrastructure continues in Session 7, Engineering and Architecture.